What's going on YouTube? I'm Andrew Crawford, the HC Legend. Yeah, boy, the GOAT. Not the GOAT, but I look like a GOAT. Close enough, am I right? I think I'm right. And today on the channel, I will be... Well, first off, let me make an announcement, then I'll get into what I'm talking about today. For the next 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, so 6 days, I will be making a video every day talking about WrestleMania and a WrestleMania-based video, as it is WrestleMania week, culminating with Saturday, my predictions, and Monday, a week from today, my results and review. So, I'm going to go top 10 Mania matches, top 10 Mania moments, not matches, but moments. They're two different things. Top 10 WrestleManias overall, what Manias I think are not the best and why I don't think they're the best. It'll be something to do with WrestleMania. I don't know if that fourth one will really be in there, but I will be talking a lot about WrestleMania. So, yeah, there's that. A lot of WrestleMania content ahead. Which brings us to what I'm going to be talking about today, my top 10 WrestleManias. There have been 39 WrestleManias. But what are the 10 that are up here? Well, I'm going to talk about it. Number 10, WrestleMania 31. I genuinely think this is a top 10 Mania. It was a very underwhelming card, but most of the matches over-delivered. The multi-man Intercontinental Championship ladder match between Cody Rhodes, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, Wade Barrett, R-Truth, Daniel Bryan, he won the freaking match, and Dolph Ziggler was genuinely a great match, and yes, Cody was in his Stardust gimmick at the time, and I hate it. Despise it. Loathe it. Whatever word is stronger than hate, that is how I feel about Stardust. There we go. You had the great match between Rollins and Randy Orton, that iconic counter of the curb stomp into the RKO. Triple H and Sting was good. Undertaker and Bray Wyatt was a thing that existed. Why did either of those two men have their entrances in broad daylight? Rusev came to the ring on a tank. Him and Cena had a match that was actually a lot better than I remember it being. Also, Rusev and Lana did the nasty in said tank, which I thought was just a comedy fact to learn. The greatest Money in the Bank cash-in of all time, with Edge Seth Rollins coming to the ring and cashing in Money in the Bank on Roman and Lesnar to win the WWE title in a main event that was a lot better than it had any right to be. WrestleMania 31 is a very top-tier Mania, and people don't really like to give it credit because it's modern. That's exactly what it is. 9, WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20 is my 9th entry because, yes, it's great, but we have been forced by Vince McMahon and WWE to forget about it, given who won the main event, that being Chris Benoit, in an excellent triple threat match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. But you also have John Cena's first major title win, the U.S. title in the opener. You have Eddie versus Kurt in a good match. You have Taker versus Kane in a very underwhelming edition of their feud. Even the Fatal 4-Way Tag title matches were a little fun. Chris Jericho and Christian really tore the house down. And then you have the Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution, which is... It was Randy's, big showing out party where he put on a good show. Rick put on a good show. Rock, who hadn't wrestled a match since WrestleMania the year before, I'm pretty sure, put on a good show. All around, these guys put on good matches. That's what they did. WrestleMania 20, number 9. 8, WrestleMania 21, the WrestleMania that took place on my 5th birthday. This is the passing of the torch mania for me. You have 3 of the biggest stars of the Ruthless Aggression era all winning prolific and high-profile matches, with Edge winning Money in the Bank, Batista's first world title, and Cena's first world title. But you also have a stellar undercard with Eddie and Ray, Randy and Undertaker, frickin' Shawn and Kurt Angle. Holy crap. 2 of the best workhorses in professional wrestling history, if I do say so myself, which I do. An all-around fun mania. Of course, it had its bad. Big Show and Aki Bono, the sumo wrestler, for some reason happened. But all around, a very strong mania. The Hollywood parodies were also good. Yeah, WrestleMania 21, number 8. 7, WrestleMania 22. And that's just a few years in a row, just a steady increase in quality. The opening match of Big Show and Kane versus Carlito and Chris Masters was a lot of tag team fun, a lot of heel antics from Carlito and Masters. Kane and Big Show actually moved pretty well in this match. You forget how well Big Show used to move before he was old as dirt and fat both. The Money in the Bank match is one of the most fun. You have the Rolling Thunder that RVD missed and hit the ladder. You have Shelton's spots. You have Matt Hardy suplexing old as dirt Ric Flair off of the ladder. The Right Wrestler won, Rob Van Dam, later on having that iconic cash-in and that iconic match with Cena for the WWE title. Edge and Foley hardcore match, the spear through the flaming table. Shawn Michaels beating the crap out of Vince McMahon for 25 minutes, I think. It was a longer match than it should have been, but it was great that it was that long because I just got to watch Shawn Michaels obliterate Vince McMahon, who, looking back on, I had no idea how much I would grow to hate. Vince McMahon, if you ever see this video, sad that limo explosion wasn't real, bro. Undertaker, Mark Henry in the casket match. Ray's crowning achievement of winning the world title, only because this guy died, but that's aside from the point. The Chicago crowd turning on Cena to hate him in his match with Triple H. Just an all-around good mania. Couple weird things in there. Boogeyman's handicap match against Booker T and his wife. Mickie James with her little thing that she did that is now banned from the network airings. But all around, it was a great mania. Funny that the tagline was big time, even though it was the last WrestleMania they held in an arena, not a stadium. Fun fact. Before I start talking about my number 6 entry, did not mean that about Vince McMahon. He is the mind behind professional wrestling and what it is today, at least. Don't really mean that, just stay away from the company. Stay away. But number 6, WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan's moment is what this mania is known for. The most heartwarming WrestleMania moment any fan could have ever experienced. The most lovable wrestler winning the biggest prize against 2 of the biggest stars, technically 3 if you count that banger of an opener with Triple H. You have The Shield versus New Age Outlaws and Kane. That happened. Yeah. The first Andre Battle Royal, which felt a lot bigger than it is anymore. The streak ended. God. Why Brock? Of all the wrestlers that could have ended the streak, Brock Lesnar, he didn't need that. Dude's a former UFC megastar that you're just going to let beat one of the most cherished professional wrestlers of all time. Like, oh my God. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Streak ended. Enough said. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the women's turmoil match or whatever it was that AJ Lee won. AJ Lee winning was the best thing about it. It didn't need to exist. But again, WrestleMania 30, arguably one of the greatest. It is one of the greatest. So, yeah. But on to the next. 5, WrestleMania 23. The Money in the Bank match, Undertaker and Batista, Shawn and Cena, the Battle of the Billionaires. It wasn't even a good match. It was just funny to watch Vince get his head shaved. Chris Benoit and MVP, they all put in stellar performances that really just, those 5 matches alone are what make this Mania top 5 for me. Especially watching freaking Jeff Hardy decide, today's a good day to kill myself. Jumps off ladder, murders Edge. Jeff and Edge are just laying there crumbled and dead. Randy Orton hit an RKO off a ladder. Matt Hardy almost twist of fated Booker T's wife, which I would have loved to see. The little stuff with Hornswoggle's step ladder, Booker T pulled out the step ladder. He's like, what the? It was comedy. It was comedy, fun. It was hectic. Mr. Kennedy, poor guy. Wish he hadn't got injured. That's all I can say about Mr. Kennedy. I'm sorry, buddy. Great match, but man, bad luck. Your shoulder injury wasn't even that bad, but they made you drop the briefcase anyways. But anyways, Undertaker Batista, holy crap. This was on Undertaker's string of like banger after banger streak matches aside from the casket match with Mark Henry. But like from 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29, that's 8 out of 9 Manias where he just put on an absolute banger of a match with his opponent. WrestleMania 23 also saw John Cena's coolest entrance for me. That whole thing, driving through Detroit in the Mustang, driving through the sheet of glass, then his music hit. That was kind of fun. I love that. And then Shawn Michaels, as a solo wrestler, still entering the DX's theme song and putting on a killer match with John Cena. Obviously, yeah, Shawn carried the workload, but that match was also a proving point for Cena where he said, hey, look, I'm better than y'all are giving me credit for. Give me my freaking credit. And I love that. I love this Mania. Probably going to rewatch it at some point this week. Probably tomorrow because I have nothing to do. So, but yeah, WrestleMania 23. Number 4, WrestleMania 13. This is a one-match Mania, but what a match it was. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. The iconic double turn of Stone Cold refusing to give up, turning him face, Bret turning heel in the process. Great, just ring psychology, ring work from both men. Really showed that Stone Cold was the future. He hadn't won any of his big titles yet. The rest of the 90s, though, and early 2000s belonged to Stone Cold. No offense to The Rock, Stone Cold owned your butt in the 90s, bro. He owned wrestling in the 90s. The Austin 316 merch, the titles, the accolades, and just the how well known his name is. People that don't watch wrestling know who Stone Cold is. People that don't watch wrestling know who The Rock is, but that's because he's also the biggest box office star of all time, arguably. They know Stone Cold. They're like, yeah, he was a wrestler, right? Yeah. Like, there's a huge... It's night and day. But also, you still had Undertaker versus Sid for the WWE title in a very mid-match, but it was still Undertaker's first title win at Mania. He actually didn't have as many of those as he should have, but who am I to argue with that? But yeah, 4, WrestleMania 13. 3, WrestleMania 10. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon should be all I have to say about this. It is still the standard bearer for most ladder matches, you know. For any one-on-one ladder match, you look to this match and you try to meet that bar as close as you can because you're never going to go over that bar that these two set. But also, you have the best opener of all time between Bret and Owen Hart. God, brother versus brother matches are so much fun in wrestling. Why do we not do more of those? Bret winning the title from Yokozuna, all of it, all 3 of those moments are just so important to wrestling. And it's actually crazy because Bret started the night on a low, losing to Owen, but ended the night with the highest of highs by beating Yokozuna for the WWE title. And, you know, this match is the best of the MSG Manias, which there were 3, 1, 10, and 20. But it's also a mania that a lot of wrestlers, you know, look to as an inspiration for their careers. Especially, you know, the high flyers that look to Shawn and Razor as for that ladder match. You know, John Morrison's admitted that match is a huge inspiration. Jeff Hardy's admitted it. Matt, Ray, all of them have admitted that match is so influential to their careers and why they do the stuff they do in the ring. It probably took years off of Shawn's career and life and probably did the same to Razor. But such an iconic mania. If I talk to you and you tell me that you hate this mania, I'm going to tell you that you're stupid. Like, genuinely, I will. Like, and your wrestling opinion will be invalid to me for the rest of the time I know you. Number 2, WrestleMania 17. This is the best WrestleMania of the Attitude Era. Which, the Attitude Era was actually 15, 16, 17, and 18. But it is also one of the most iconic manias for a whole host of reasons. TLC 2 was iconic, phenomenal in every aspect of the word. Edge's spear, the crazy amounts of interference, probably the biggest example of who do you pick to win this match because of who all was in it and how valid each team's point was to win the titles. You had Vince and Shane, which after watching Mania 17 yesterday and watching that match back, I would argue that match is a 2-spot match with Linda rising from her chair and Shane's coast to coast. But, you know, maybe it's not, and maybe I just wasn't paying good enough attention. Doubt it, but still. Undertaker and Triple H, the second best of their Mania trilogy that they had, because they had 3 matches. Why do people forget they wrestled at this Mania too? Oh my god. And the piece de resistance, if you will, Rock and Austin 2, the best of their Mania trilogy, but the dumbest heel turn of all time. You are in Austin's home state. You know he's not going to get booed, but you try to turn him heel. Realistically, Stone Cold could have taken a newborn puppy and used it to beat The Rock to death. And the fans in Texas still would have cheered this man for the animal cruelty that he was administering to The Rock. Like, they still would have cheered this man. Worst time for a heel turn ever, because, again, the amount of faces in the company was so lackluster. It seemed like everyone wanted to be heel, but then I get it. Bad guys are cooler. But again, still an iconic Mania. That Rock and Austin match is still phenomenal. Just the energy behind this Mania is absurd to me. Just the crowd is... The night started with Jericho and Regal, and the crowd was on their feet for that, and they were on their feet all the way through, probably with the exception of the Gimmick Battle Royal. That's the worst thing in WrestleMania history. Oh my god, why does that exist? But anyways, WrestleMania 17, number 2. Number 1, in my opinion, and again, this list is not the right list, it's my list, it's my opinions. If you disagree, cool. I don't care. But number 1, WrestleMania 24. I genuinely believe this is the best Mania of all time, for the sheer fact that there is one genuinely bad match on the card, like one match that just absolutely flat out sucks. And if you cut this and you give another match 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, it shows out completely, and it's so much better that way. But that being the women's tag team match, Melina... Was it Melina? Yeah, it was like Melina and Beth Phoenix versus Maria and Ashley. Like, its very existence still makes me mad. But then let's get into the good. The Belfast Brawl between JBL and Finlay was a lot more fun than it should have been. Wrong person won with JBL, but that's aside from the point. Still a fun little opener for the show. Not exactly a 5-star classic, not exactly a dud. It was fun. It was short, but it was high energy. The Money in the Bank match, CM Punk wins. Shelton Benjamin gets flipped off a ladder, through a ladder, and nearly dies, it looked like. The backstabber off the ladder, the Walls of Jericho on the ladder, the triple sunset flip powerbomb thing that Shelton Benjamin pulled off. A lot of fun in this Money in the Bank match. Floyd and Big Show, the greatest boxer of all time versus 7 foot, 500-pound Big Show, was a fun little match. Floyd won with the brass knuckles. Batista and Umaga was super short as it needed to be. It was just a hoss fight. Batista hitting that Batista bomb barely happened. Very barely. Like, it didn't even look like a power bomb. It just looked like a move that happened. The triple threat between Cena, Orton, and Triple H is underrated as balls, in my opinion. It was a great little match with the right person winning. The biggest underdog moment of Randy's career, because people were genuinely like, there's zero chance that he wins. He won. That Punk kick looked very good. The rope hung DDT to both men. The way the match starts with, as soon as the bell rings, Randy grabs the title and just bashes Triple H in the head with it. And then Undertaker and Edge in a very great match. Fun fact about this match, Edge was actually predicted to end the pitch to end the streak, like Vince said, hey, what do you think about ending the streak? And Edge said, no, not doing it. So he did the job to Taker. It was a great match. But the best moment of this Mania, and the most heartbreaking Mania moment of all time, I'm sorry, I love you, followed up by the saddest Sweet Chin music I've ever seen. Not sad as in it looked bad, but sad because, oh my gosh, the end of one of the most legendary careers ever. Because Ric Flair never wrestled another match. Don't care what anyone says. Didn't happen. Nope, didn't happen. Shawn and Rick killed it. Shawn probably almost killed himself in that match with that moonsault into the announce table. I genuinely believe that Shawn and Rick have an argument for the best Mania match of all time. And yeah, that's my number one. And that's the video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you disagree? Tell me about it in the comments below, except for don't, because honestly, it's just going to crush my self-esteem and I'm going to be sad. But again, this is just my list. It's not the right list. It's my opinions. I'm sure a lot of people have differing opinions. I don't care. Good for you. But anyways, that's the video. Tomorrow, I'll be doing my top 10 Mania matches of all time. Stay tuned for that. And again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning, I will be uploading. Saturday will be my WrestleMania predictions. But until next time, unlike John Cena, I can see you, and I will see you soon.